The rap industry has never been a stranger to tragedy, but you might be surprised to find out how we lost certain rap icons too soon. Do you know which independent rapper was taken out by COVID-19? Keep watching to find out. Born in Chicago but raised in South Memphis, young Dolph became a leader in the growing Memphis scene by combining hard-edged and highly descriptive lyrics with the irresistible dance beats of Southern rap. His mixtapes made him a local hero in the mid-2000s, but by the mid-2010s, young Dolph was a national sensation, releasing hit albums like King of Memphis, Role Model, and Dumb and Dumber, as well as smash hit singles 100 Shots and Major. On November 17, 2021, young Dolph walked into Makita's Butter Cookies in his hometown of Memphis, a business he regularly visited and would often promote. Shortly after he arrived, a car drove up to the bakery and two men brandishing firearms emerged and began shooting into the store. Young Dolph was killed in the gunfire. The rapper was 36. Rapper Slim 400 was raised in Compton, California, continuing the legacy of iconic 90s gangsta rap hotbed with story songs about life in the California underbelly. He worked closely with YG, both at 400 Records and Pusha Inc., and released the solo album Bompton in 2021. Slim 400 survived an attack in 2019 where he was shot 9 times while visiting relatives near his childhood home in Compton. He explained to Vlad TV.
So when I jump out to go see my family, I guess these dudes was already on the block waiting for anybody to pull up.
Slim 400 was a fan of slain rapper Young Dolph. A few weeks after his death, he posted a tribute to the musician on Instagram. Just hours later, Slim 400 was gunned down in a drive-by shooting. Inglewood police responded to the sound of gunshots and discovered the rapper lying in a residential driveway suffering from a gunshot wound. He received emergency treatment and was rushed to the hospital, where he died shortly thereafter. According to the initial police investigations, Slim 400 may have been involved in an escalating violent conflict between two rival Los Angeles gangs. He was 33. Throughout the 1990s, Michigan-based Kid Rock and his Twisted Brown Trucker Band combined the vocal delivery of rap with heavy metal instrumentation, pioneering the then new genre of rap rock. Kid Rock and Company broke into the mainstream in the latter part of the decade with hits like Ba Wada Ba and Cowboy. A member of Kid Rock's entourage and backing band, Joe C., contributed to performances both live and in the studio. He added humor to the proceedings whenever he could, rapping boastfully about his size and donning wild stage costumes. Joe C. was diagnosed with a serious case of celiac disease as a child, which limited his growth to a height of 3 feet 9 inches. The disease also required him to take as many as 65 pills per day and undergo kidney dialysis treatments. Days after turning 26, Joe C.'s body was discovered by his mother in her Michigan home. Fred the Godson was a certified rising star of hip-hop in the early 2010s, earning a spot alongside Kendrick Lamar and Meek Mill in XXL's magazine's illustrious freshman class of 2011. Despite his popularity, the man born Frederick Thomas never issued a major label release. Nevertheless, he self-released many well-received mixtapes, including Armageddon and City of God. Fred the Godson remained consistently active throughout the tail of his career, releasing 4 solo projects between 2017 and 2020, including March 2020's Payback. Just weeks later, Fred the Godson tweeted an image of himself in a hospital room wearing an oxygen mask and hooked up to a ventilator system. It was the early days of the coronavirus pandemic, and the rapper had contracted the viral disease. In the post, the rapper asked his fans to keep him in their prayers. According to Complex, Fred the Godson recovered somewhat before falling ill again. He died on April 23, 2020 at the age of 35. According to Vulture, Jesse Enfroy, better known as XXXTentacion, broke out after a series of SoundCloud releases in 2014. Within 3 years, he was scoring mainstream hits on the Billboard pop charts, like Look at Me and Jocelyn Flores, with albums 17 and Question Mark hitting number 2 and number 1, respectively. His music often confronted the topics of violence and struggling with mental illness. Off the mic, XXXTentacion's life was even more troubled and violent. In 2016, he assaulted his romantic partner, threatening to cut off her tongue, allegedly because she was singing someone else's songs. A few months later, he held a knife to that same partner's throat when he suspected infidelity. After she revealed she was pregnant, Enfroy beat her, promised to kill her, and locked her in an apartment until she escaped 2 days later. The case was never resolved, as XXXTentacion was shot to death in Florida in June 2018. The rapper was 20. In the early 90s, there was pop rap, gangster rap, socially conscious rap, and then there was the genre-defying PM Dawn. The New Jersey-based duo made up of brothers Prince B and DJ Minute Mix created danceable rap music with elements of soul and psychedelic rock. Prince B delivered introspective lyrics and a combination of soulful belting and whispered rapping. PM Dawn's unique style took their song Set Adrift on Memory Bliss to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. This was only the third time a rap song had ever topped the chart. The duo made the top 10 a few more times with similarly spacey hits like I Die Without You and Looking Through Patient Eyes. PM Dawn's popularity faded, and the group stopped releasing albums in the late 1990s. Meanwhile, Prince B's health started to decline. He suffered several complications from living with diabetes for years. In 2005, a stroke paralyzed half of his body, and one of his legs was partially amputated. After a diagnosis of renal kidney disease, he died in a New Jersey hospital in June 2016 at the age of 46. A Tribe Called Quest were one of the most acclaimed and influential hip-hop groups of all time. They helped introduce jazz sampling into rap and used their platform to look inward and discuss social issues. The quartet, consisting of DJ Ali Shaheed Muhammad, Q-Tip, Phife Dawg, and Jerobi White, released many now-classic songs like Can I Kick It?, I Left My Wallet in El Segundo, Scenario, and Award Tour before breaking up in 1998. KQED reports that Phife Dawg was diagnosed with diabetes in 1990. At the time, he was 19. According to All Hip Hop, he suffered complications from the metabolic disease and spent 2 years on dialysis treatments awaiting a kidney transplant, which he received in 2008. However, the transplant was unsuccessful and he needed another kidney just a few years later. A Tribe Called Quest reunited in 2015, making several TV appearances and beginning work on a new record. However, Phife Dawg died in March 2016 at the age of 45, before A Tribe Called Quest album We Got It From Here, Thank You For Your Service was completed or released. If you or someone you know is struggling with domestic abuse, please call or chat online with the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233.